Hey, Right On Con. My name is Matt Landis. I am so pleased to be back here with you. You don't know this, but this is like the 100th take that I've done of this opening session. I teach 8th grade. I've been teaching for 12 years, 8th grade social studies, 1 year 7th grade, 11, 8th, and I'm filming in my classroom. I love teaching. It's so fun. It's like inspiration. It's just a joy to be with the kids. I did not know I wanted to be a writer when I was teaching, kind of became that along the way. But it's really great to be back. Last year I had the privilege of talking to you about not making writing the center of your life. And I argued that if you did that, you'd be miserable because number one, you might never get published or make it, right? Whatever that means. And number two, if you do make it or get published, right, you will always be chasing the next thing. And so to be a more joyful writer, I argued you should prioritize it correctly in your life and not build your life around it. And so I hope that, which is, by the way, is a funny thing to tell people who paid to see you speak at a writing conference. But it got a really good response. People seem to enjoy it. I think there's a link to that talk below. And I was blown away by that some of just the comments and people saying, yes, that's me. And that's always great to hear, but it's me too. And so I hope that the last year or the years forward are going to be more years where you have prioritized writing in a way that's healthy for you and your family and people in your life and your job status, whatever that is. Just because I think it's going to bring you more joy and more creativity and freedom to do what you love, which is write. This year, I want to make a different argument, related but different, and I want to argue with you, you should consider breaking up with social media. Now, I know that sounds a little bit trendy, right? It's like very popular now to like, I'm quitting social media. Seabrook and I really talked about this title, and I thought critically about it. The wording is very specific. I want you to consider breaking up with it. I didn't say you never see it again, quit your job, move to like the West Coast. Consider moving from an intimate relationship with social media to a platonic or utilitarian, I'll argue. Like imagine you dating somebody at work and you break up with them, you don't ride the cab with them and you don't, eat lunch with them and you stop your relationship, right? But you have to be with them. I think it's a healthier way, I'm gonna argue, for you to approach social media. And I think that's gonna make you, it's gonna free you up to do the main thing we're trying to do, which is to write. So there's my argument to you. I'm going to give you two nerdy quotes, one by my man Thomas Paine, the original T-Paine, American Revolution. He wrote Common Sense, right, the pamphlet that pushed Americans to independence. He says that time makes more converts than reason. Man, I love that. Doesn't that make so much sense? It did for me with social media, right? I heard arguments, do this, do that, don't do this, but time and my own experience, I think, and that reason, have made me the convert to this idea of just changing my relationship with it. So I hope that's the same for you. Sorry, the second quote I'm going to read you, I'm going to make sure I get it right, is by Sherry Turkle, who I'll quote later. Man, she's brilliant. She's this MIT professor who has done more research than anybody, and I think writing on this topic of humans and technology. And here's what she says in this TED Talk that's also linked below. She says, those who make the most of their lives on the screen come to it in a spirit of self-reflection. And that's what I'm calling for here now. Reflection, and more than that, a conversation about where our current use of technology may be taking us and what it might be costing us. That's what I want to do with you today. Here we go, let's dive in. Okay, so my first argument is you should consider breaking up with social media because it's stealing your writing time. And that's the point of this whole thing. Why is it stealing your time? Well, because it's addicting. Julian Morgan's Advice has an incredible article on this. It has been engineered to literally addict you. Tristan Harris, who she quotes, has a great TED Talk and research on this. He sort of coined this term intermittent variable rewards, which is what Vegas gambling and slot machines use to pull you back again and again, but never really fulfill you. Adam Alter, who wrote this great book, Irresistible, basically the whole argument is behavioral addiction to technology is a terrible thing, and it is a terrifying book. It just, again, proving this idea, it's addicting, it's stealing your time. And one of my favorites, the last personal quote, is the novelist Abwa Dewase. She has a TED Talk, and this beautiful quote here I'm going to read about time and sort of the black hole of social media. She says, the digital now is not just far from the present, it's in direct competition with it. Everyone is absent within it. Therein lies its greatest convenience and its greatest horror. Man, that is like deep. I had to listen to it like 4 times. I think what she's saying is this, it's a black hole and you know that. And my argument to you is that it sucks you down, it pulls you in, and time to write is just lost. I mean, how many times have you scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and your time is just gone? So here's some suggestions I have for you. How much time do you spend on social media track it. Apple lets you track it now. Also, there's a great app that Adam Alter mentions called Moments. I use that now on my phone. It tracks your pickup time, how much you're on the apps, and I think that will help regulate how much time you're on your phones and give you an idea of maybe your sort of the degree to which maybe you need to back off and change that relationship. Okay, my second argument to you is you should consider breaking up with social media because it could be fueling your anxiety. I don't know if you have anxiety, but if you do, social media is proven to fuel it. Laura Turner at The Atlantic has a great article about this. And really the two big reasons are, as she points out, compare and despair, right? We look at others, we wish we were them, but we're not, so we get anxious. And number two, we sort of are being constantly exposed to people shouting, "Look at me!" And a lot of that information is, it's like not good news. I'll be honest. I mean, I do have anxiety, and Twitter is not good. It's just not good for me, because it consists largely of those things. The call-out culture that we're living in, Twitter is the incubator for it, right? You know this, and that fuels and it exists in the writing community as well. And that can really fuel a lot of anxiety amongst writers. And so here's my suggestion, right? I want to leave you with some positive stuff. I think that for this issue, the anxiety, you could limit your scrolling. Try and do that. Try and not scroll on your feed. Look at it as a utility. Is there a connection you're trying to make? A writer that you want to follow or maybe a critique partner that you can find their information and go reach out to them. Instead of every day pulling up your phone, scrolling through that Twitter feed, and being exposed to all these things and these little things that are happening, which, by the way, back to Duase's quote, is not really existing in reality. It's outside of time, right? So try not scrolling through your feed. Just try it for like a week. Do like a social media, do like a Twitter fast for like a couple days or a week. And try just not to scroll. Try and just, observe. Don't go on it if that's, a problem. And see how you feel. Do you feel less anxious? I'll be honest, I do. I tried it, and then I went back, and then I kind of observe Twitter now. I don't usually use it. I can use it to connect. I don't need, get rid of my account. I think it has utility. But man, I have so much less anxiety. I'm not constantly caught up in these endless arguments that occur on social media. It's not that those discussions and those issues do not matter or have value, but they occur in a community that, I'll get to this in a second, that is mimicking a community, and it's not a real community. And people in real community don't talk to each other the way that people do on Twitter. Or if they do, there's a safety and grace, and there's an understanding of, I'm in this for more than getting my, pithy comments in. And so I would say just try to not scroll, see how you feel. That's my suggestion. And I think, again, aside from, freeing up your time, this is going to give you less anxiety. Or if you have anxiety, it will not fuel it as much. Moving from that, think about my dating metaphor. You're constantly in someone's business if you're dating them, right? You're all up in everything that's going on with them. You like step back when you break up with them. And maybe you say, hey, how's it going? Like once in a while when you see them at work, but you don't dive back into those intimate conversations. Okay, my third argument, you should consider breaking up with social media because it's mimicking the community that you are desiring. And I want to say this with a lot of grace because I know a lot of you are writers. You don't know many writers, and you're trying to connect with them. And it's hard to do that with a full-time job that you have and a family. What else is going on? And so I understand, and I've done it too, this desire to seek that community online. And my argument to you is that desire is good, but the online community is not a real community. It's Sherry Turkle calls it, it's like soda water, right? It's a substance, but it's not what you need, but it tastes good and it's quick and easy, but it's not giving you what you really need to grow. I'll give you a real world example of how I struggle with this. I joined the writing community, I think 2014, and I was excited to be a part of these groups, and it was very exciting. Everyone's in it, email chains and, debut writing groups and Facebook groups and Twitter groups and all this stuff. It's very exciting. And then it wasn't until, though, I actually connected beyond that with a guy named Dave Connis, who's a great friend of mine now, a real life friend, and which is a funny thing to say, but true. And we shared our same publisher at Sky Pony, and he actually ended up becoming, really good friends. He drove up from Tennessee to host my book launch, and we actually now, through phone calls and real life, have begun to become real friends. We have a real community now. And I'm not saying the word real to be derogatory toward online communities. I'm saying that you need to acknowledge that it's not a real community, but you already know this, right? Because nobody talks to each other in real life the way people talk to each other on Twitter. And if they do, you leave that community, right? You got to take steps beyond online communities to make those real communities. And so I think you should do that. Go find a writing group. Google, search them, look online, connect with people online, and then meet people in real life at book festivals or book fairs, right? Connect with people and then follow those conversations up and then say, hey, I'll be in this city this time. It takes hard work. And here's the thing, real relationships take hard work. Like face-to-face interaction is hard. Sherry Turkle talks so much about this. People forget how to have conversations. Technology, she says, makes us forget what we know about life. I think that if you begin to find your online community not meeting your needs, consider breaking up in a way, less intimate and finding less community online and more in real life. I'm kind of rambling, but, and go read John Ronson's You've Been Publicly Shamed. You'll get what I'm saying. People do not act in communities online like they act in real life. And I just think that's the way technology is set up. That's that Sherry Turkle quote. We forget what we know about real life. I'm rambling. Wrap it up, Landis. No. Okay. Here's what I want to say. I want to recap. Sorry, I want to be clear. I want to be more graceful with that. I get your desire to long for a community online, but I would ask you to consider real community with people. That's hard, and it's really hard. But you can do it, and I think it'll fulfill you. Okay, recap. Let's recap. You should consider breaking up with social media because, number one, it is stealing your writing time. It's addicting. Number two, it is increasing anxiety. And finally, it's providing you a soda water community when we need protein. And real community can do that. And I want to encourage you to find it. Remember that breaking up with social media does not mean that you quit or get rid of it forever. You simply recalibrate your relationship, intimate, right, to utilitarian. I'm going to end with some suggestions. I'm going to put these below that I found really, really helpful to sort of balance your life online and social media. I think these will be really helpful. So here they are. These are things I've found from the books I've read, from Adam Alter and these different people that I've quoted, and also things that I've just kind of come to find have worked for me, and I hope they work for you. So here they are, right? Okay, number one, disable all notifications on your phone. Yes, do it. Delete apps on your phone, download, then post to them if you have to post, and delete again. I do this with Instagram. It's great. I post, I delete the app. Oh, it's so great. No scrolling. Simply stop posting. Go dark on apps. Use them as observation. I do this with Twitter and Facebook. It's made my life so much better. It's incredible. Just try it. You don't believe me? Just try it, right, for like a week or two. When you use your apps, don't scroll. Just post and get off. You say, Mr. Landis, that's so... Sorry, Mr. Landis, you're my students. Say, Matt, that's so mean. How could you do that? You've fallen into the trap that online life is real life. You should read David Eggers' The Circle. That will terrify you about this. Download Moments, a great app. Create safe zones in your house. Adam Alter's idea, like the kitchen or family room, especially the bedroom. Sleep will thank you. Ask yourself this question at the end of every day. Here it is. Did anything truly helpful or good for your writing come from your social media interactions? That's a tough question. And I'm asking myself the same question, guys, because I slip up too, and I struggle a lot with this too. I slip back to the scrolling and, oh no, get off. And finally, have grace with yourself. You're gonna really struggle with this. If you try and dump social media, it's gonna be really hard because it's addicting and it's tough, but you can do it. And just set goals for yourself. I started slow and I feel like I've got a long way to go, but I feel that I have more time to write. I'm less anxious about it. And I'm trying to plug in with real life community, and it's been very fulfilling. Thank you so much for watching this video, and this is a lot of fun. It's like dark out now. I think it's light when I started. I think I really should get home, but this was so much fun. Thank you, Seabrook and team, for having me. I forgot to do that awkward plug for my books, so I won't even do it because who cares? You can check my books out on my website. That's below. I write for middle school kids and high school kids. So much fun. No, there it is. My giant face is right behind me. You have questions, email me, author.matthewlandis@gmail.com. about this talk. I hope that you have a great rest of your time here at Right On Con. Enjoy the rest of that conference, and I would love to hear your feedback on this talk. And again, check out all the sources below. I will see you hopefully next year if I'm invited back. Have a great 2019. Best of luck in your writing. See you later.